You know, this is Joe Imbriano, Fullerton resident. I'm also candidate for Fullerton City Council. You know, for the past almost 4 years, we've been trying to stop what most people think is a godsend, which in reality is a curse, which I believe is an agenda from the pit of hell, ladies and gentlemen. That's the microwaving of your children. Troy High School in Fullerton, California has metal walls in it. A parent and I had taken a tour of the school and had determined that this school has metal walls in it. Now what they've done is they've put microwave transmitters called Wi-Fi access points inside the school classrooms, and they're going to be running 35 to 40 Chromebooks per classroom, as well as the children's cell phones that are on all day in Wi-Fi mode because they want to get on their Instagram and play Pokemon. So you basically have upwards of 70 devices going inside a room with metal walls. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a low-powered microwave oven. So over the past couple of years, we've had the fortunate help of Miss MJ Noor. MJ Noor has come out on this. MJ Noor is the founder of Parents Voice USA, and she has come out and called this extremely dangerous. We are quoting her verbatim from the Costa Mesa Tea Party presentation that she had done with Frank Cottaspati last February. And she was very explicit in the terms she used and took a very courageous position on this, which I commend her for doing. And so what we've done is we've basically put her information up here on the wall because, quite frankly, we can't get her video out to the entire world unless we walk up to everybody and say, hey, go to this YouTube channel on your cell phones. These kids aren't going to look at this. But what we can do is we can put it up on this wall and warn everybody, and warn the parents, and warn the children, and warn everybody that's driving by here that, hey, we have the founder of the Parents Voice USA saying, don't do this. She's even gone on record telling the school boards not to do this. And so what has the school board done? They've done it. They've put it in. We've held this back for a couple of years. They were in a holding pattern for several years. They've finally gone forward and said, we're going to install this stuff. Now, with the bond money, the school district had put a second bond on the ballot. They got it passed, and now they have this technology upgrade that they've just completed where they put wireless systems in all the schools. Ironically, the mayor of Fullerton, Miss Jennifer Fitzgerald, is on that bond oversight committee, I believe in the chairperson capacity. And she has just happened to have been privy to years of city council meetings where we brought this issue up, handed them information on the dangers of wireless, and she, as an elected representative on the city council and as mayor of Fullerton, has completely ignored this. And once she ended up on the bond oversight committee, I kid you not, the minute that she got on there, literally in 6 months, they had this wireless going in with the bond money. So what does that tell you about the leadership in Fullerton? What does that tell you about our elected representatives on the city council level? And as a matter of fact, everybody on the city council, Bruce Whitaker, Greg Seaborn, Doug Chafee, Jan Flory, and Jennifer Fitzgerald have all ignored all of this information. This information has been entered into the public record. This information has been presented to them personally. This information has been explained to them personally on video at city council meetings. And what have they done with it? Nothing. Zero. Not one written response, not one verbal response, nothing addressing this issue. So what we have is MJ Noor, Harvard-educated, UN employee, former, now the founder of the Parents Voice USA, coming out and saying this is extremely dangerous. I think that's a wonderful position that she's taken, and I commend her courage and I commend her fortitude on this, because quite frankly it's a very politically incorrect thing to be doing right now, coming out against the establishment like this. And this city is owned lock, stock, and barrel by establishment interests that have been holding this city in a death grip for years, if not decades. So what we're up against is almost an insurmountable challenge to wake people up in the face of such a chokehold that these lackeys have held on this community for decades. All I know is that if this continues, we are going to start seeing the bodies stacking up. Ladies and gentlemen, microwave emissions can kill people. Microwaves are a weapon. Microwave technology was developed as a weapon. They have had decades and decades to hone this down to the specific frequency, the specific power level, the specific distance to the source of their intended radiation, which in my opinion happens to be the reproductive organs. That's why the antenna is at the base of the iPad, and that's why it's conveniently held in laps by the children. And as far as the frequency that they've chosen, they have chosen 2.4 gigahertz to operate Wi-Fi on. Wi-Fi operates in the microwave spectrum. Wi-Fi operates at the exact frequency at which the maximum dielectric loss of water begins. We're 80% water, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody can dispute the fact that we're made out of water for the most part. Why do they choose the exact frequency that the water molecules start to rotate at? Why? Why did they choose that frequency to not have the FCC require a license? Let's see you set up a radio station and start broadcasting on any frequency you like. Guess what? You can't do that. You have to have a license. So why have they allowed 2.4 gigahertz, the exact frequency at which the maximum dielectric loss of water begins? That's when the water molecules start rotating on their axis to line up with the oscillations in the field, 2.4 billion times a second. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a massive amount of shaking going on to our bodies. I don't care how you slice this, folks. This stuff is a weapon. They could transmit data with light. I remember in my 6th grade science project back in the 70s, I got first place for a fiber optic presentation, running data through fiber optic cables. This is when I was in 6th grade. They had this stuff 40 years ago. So why are we spraying microwave radiation into classrooms at Troy High School with metal walls? Well, I can tell you right now, MJ Noor doesn't agree with it. Joe Imbriano doesn't agree with it. 220 scientists don't agree with it. Thousands of studies that are peer-reviewed don't agree with it. But we have people on the school board who could care less. They don't care. We have people on the PTA, the PTSA. They don't care. Nobody cares. Let me tell you something. When your kid comes home with bloody noses, with headaches, with nausea, with dizziness, you're gonna attribute that to what? Oh, he's been up late doing his homework. No. You need to start looking at where the starting point for this stuff was. It was he went back to school. Does he get better when he gets home after school on the weekends? More serious note, what about sudden cardiac arrest? Why do you think these athletes are dropping dead? Ladies and gentlemen, why are there defibrillators in the schools now? Did we ever have defibrillators in the schools growing up? We never had defibrillators anywhere. You know why? Because kids weren't dropping dead. Kids would be jacked up on sugar, on Abba-Zabbas, on Coca-Cola. They'd be riding their bikes until the sun went down, ladies and gentlemen. And they were out there in 3rd stage smog alerts doing this, and the kids weren't dropping dead. Let me tell you what's happening right now. Now these kids are dropping dead in school. Perfectly healthy athletes dropping like flies out on the playground, on the basketball court. Do you have an explanation for this? Let me tell you something, folks. You would think they'd be tracking the data on this. Guess what? They're not. Let me tell you what's happening right now. There's a killing field going on in the schools, and one death is too many. And we've put the athletic director at Troy High School, Mr. Michael Silzer, on notice, and he has yet to respond on multiple occasions to the need and use in the proper training of defibrillators, and how, as the athletic director, he needs to know what to look out for and the signs and symptoms of the issues that these microwave emissions can induce in these children. What has he done? Nothing. He's ignored it. I have a next door neighbor, Mr. Jesse Knowles, who's the technology guru for this high school. He just had a brain tumor cut out of the side of his head. Thank God he's okay because he has a family. He was presented with information from a parent in person. He refused to accept it. We tried to hand it to him in person. He refused to take the information. What kind of human being would refuse to accept information as it relates to the health and safety in terms of a perceived, if not potential, if not documented, if not real and imminent threat to children? How do you justify that? What kind of morality does that individual have? I will tell you, folks, he's an agent of the state, and he's doing what he's told. He's following orders against the wishes of hundreds of scientists, against the California Medical Association, and even against someone who's had the courage to come out on this, MJ Noor, who almost got elected to school board here in the last round of elections. And I gotta tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the blood's gonna be on all their hands. Because once somebody dies at Troy High School from microwave exposure, from sudden cardiac arrest, I can tell you who's gonna end up in prison. And it's gonna be everybody that we've put on notice on this, and everybody that's ignored this, the PTA, the PTSA, the teachers, the administrators, the staff, the moms and dads that drove by me every morning. I've got you all on camera driving by me ignoring this. You think this is some sort of a joke? It's not a joke, folks. These are our children. And what kind of human being doesn't stand up for their children? I would like to know the answer to that question. Why did you save 9 months of your life to carry them to term and stay up years and years and years of your life caring for them when they were young, just to hand them over to this meat grinder. And let me tell you something, folks, when you put a kid in a room with metal walls and microwave devices, that's a meat grinder. It may not be obvious on the outside, but what's happening to their internal organs, what's happening to them at the cellular level, is documented. The science is there, the debate is over, the science has been settled. Microwaves are a weapon. This stuff is harmful. These people that run the school district are not your friends. These teachers are not to be respected. They're cowards. They're evil. Only evil people ignore warnings as it relates to the health and safety of children. Only evil people continue to move along, to continue to move an agenda forward, in spite of the dire warnings from the experts. May God help these people if something happens to one of these children. I don't want that to happen, but because of the laws of probability, because of the reality of what we face, it's an inevitability. Ladies and gentlemen, I just hope that one child isn't your own. This is Joe Imbriano, out in front of Troy High School. Thank you.